Hi, welcome to another Witchdoctors DIY Garage, where we show you how to do it so you can save money. Today what we're going to talk about is adjusting a clutch cable. We get a lot of emails and questions in our tech department about how do you adjust a clutch cable. We're going to show you on an 07 jackpot, basically 07, 05, they're all the same, even clear up to the newer bikes. It's the same process. We're going to show you on the 07 because it's a little bit more cramped in there, and we'll show you the difference between, say, the jackpot and a cross-country bike on how much room you have, but you still adjust it the same way. But the jackpots and the hammers and those steel frame bikes, it's a little more crammed in there, so it's a little bit harder to do just because you can't get your hands in there. We'll go over to the bike and we'll show you how to do it.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this free play out of the clutch lever up here. A lot of times this starts wobbling real bad. You'll notice your clutch isn't engaging right anymore. It could be just a simple adjustment. So we're going to show you. This is too sloppy. This is the point we're working on right here. When this is too sloppy, this moves before when it goes to engage, you have a lot of free play and it can't engage. So this would actually be like moved over there, and it's sloppy, and you'll see that. We'll show you how to adjust it. Actually very easy. The adjuster's on the other side of the bike, so we kind of got to flop back and forth to show you here. But we'll go on the other side of the bike and show you how to do it. Okay, so most of you guys know by now on these older bikes how you get your side cover off. You just simply pull it off. It's just kind of pressed in there. It's got the little feet that go in the rubber grommets, so it's real easy to just pull that off. Now what we're trying to do is up in here, there's a nut. You can see the cable. This is your clutch cable right here. This is a little clamp, and there's a nut, 10mm nut. So we need to get that nut off of there. That will allow the cable to kind of move out a little bit. Once we get the cable out, down here is a jam nut, right here. We have to loosen that jam nut. Now that can be quite a pain in the ass sometimes because you can't get your wrench in there. It's kind of in a difficult spot. But you have to get that jam nut loose, and then this part of the cable is what we turn to adjust it. So first thing you got to do is take that nut off, 10mm nut. And what you have to be careful here is nothing major, but when you get that nut off of there, it's going to be real easy to drop it. So you want to be real careful. If you need a little screwdriver to help you hold it, get that nut out of there. Be real careful because it can drop behind the motor, and then it's hard. You got to get a flashlight and a magnet and everything to get down in there. So now this will come out, and you don't have a whole lot of room, but you have some room to get to this nut. Depending on your exhaust, again, this could be really a pain. Sometimes if you want to try getting it from the other side, but I got it there. And just unscrew it. You can go down quite a bit, you know, just depends on how much adjustment you need, but go ahead and go down quite a bit. And then I'll show you what we're going to do here. This adjuster is a 13mm. This right here is what's adjusting the cable. Now we can't see it because it's on the other side. That's what we showed you earlier on the clutch arm, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go on the other side and show you what's happening, but I just want you to know this is what I'm turning right here. So when you see the cable moving in and out, this is what I'm doing. That's how you adjust your cable. So we'll go on the other side and show you. Okay, so what you can see is the slack right here. It's a little easier to see now. That cable, if I can kind of get my hands out of the way, but see that slack right there? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're trying to get out. Reason that happens a lot of times is just the cable stretches over the years. The clutch inside could be worn a little bit, and this arm will be in a different spot. So basically, that's what we want to try to take up right there. So what we're going to do, we're just going to grab our little adjuster over here, and I'll hold that out so you can see. It's kind of hard to reach over there and do it. You can see the cable is starting to tighten up. I don't know if you can see that or not. We don't have much slack now, just a little bit. So what you want to do is you want to just keep turning that. If your arm starts to move, okay, that means you're pulling it too tight. So it's kind of a fine line there. You can still see a little slack right there. So you want to just keep turning that until it just barely catches. And it's probably hard to show with the camera, but you just want to get it to where that just barely catches. You can still see we got quite a bit there. So I'm going to keep turning. And now you can see it. It's actually pretty tight right now. There's no real slop in that at all. So what you can do, and it's in the service manual, it'll tell you the exact spec, but we're just trying to get you close and give you the idea of what to do here. But what you want to do is, if this is on, okay, if this arm is over this way, that's pulling the clutch on. That's wearing the clutches right now. So you want to make sure it's off. You don't want to have that engaged, because if it's engaged, like I say, you're going to wear your clutches out. If you have it too sloppy, then when you squeeze your clutch lever, it's going to be sloppy up there. So you just have to get a happy medium of what's comfortable for you. Some people like some things one way and other people's like them another. So you can just do that, but that's where you want to get it. Just basically where it's catching right there. And you can see when I squeeze the handle, there's no slop. It's not, you got a little bit of play right there, just a tiny bit. You can see it just barely moving before it starts to engage. So that's basically what you're doing when you're adjusting the clutch. All you would do now is tighten the jam nut back up on the other side here. Put your nut back on that little cable clamp. Put your side cover back on, and you're good. One thing I recommend is, once you do that, take it for a ride around the block, get everything hot, get the oil hot, drive it around 5-10 miles, come back and just double check it and make sure everything looks like it's in the same spot, that you don't have a lot of slop and all that type of stuff. So in case you made a mistake, you can catch it before anything happens. Again, doing this on a newer bike, like a cross country, this is basically the same on this side. The other side, where the cable adjuster is pretty much out in the open. It's very easy to get to. You really don't even need to take that nut off up on the top cable. You just need to loosen the jam nut, and again, it's very easy to get to. I'll show you a real quick picture here of what that looks like. I'm not going to go through all the adjustment, but I'll show you what that looks like. So that's basically all you need to do to adjust the clutch. Okay, this is your adjuster right here. You can see much more room. You can actually get a wrench onto this adjuster nut, or the lock nut, and you can get right onto that adjuster. You can cut this zip tie if you have to, but you really don't need to. Everything's pretty easy right there, but that's how much easier you do it on a cross country is. It's just so much more room. So that's it for adjusting a clutch. Thanks for watching.